Let's play back. Online able to see here. Back all of you. Back up. Able to see here. Okay, done. Okay, we saw essential elements not given under section 10. Okay, right on the next one. Essential elements given under section 10. Essential elements as given under section 10. Yes, sure. So under this, I'll be writing 6 essential elements as given under section 10. I'll be writing 6. The first one, there must be an offer, there must be an acceptance. Without this, there can never be a contract. So basically, this is nothing but offer plus acceptance, that is agreement. So first, there has to be an agreement. Without that, obviously, there cannot be a contract. Correct? No? Yes. The next one is called free consent. Free consent. Free consent. It should be out of one's own will. Next one, capacity of parties. Capacity of parties. Under capacity, write down 3. A person should be a major. A person should be sound mind. Not expressly disqualified. Not expressly disqualified. Fourth one. Consideration. They should be quid pro quo. Quid pro quo. They should be quid pro quo. Quid pro quo. Next one. Quid pro quo. QUO. Lawful object and lawful consideration. Lawful object and lawful consideration. Not expressly declared void. Not expressly declared void. Not expressly declared void. Copy it. Any singers in the class, Ada? No singers, huh? Like anyone, actually, do you guys sing or no one like that? John, dancer, who? Huh? Who is a dancer? Divyansh. Who is Divyansh? Dancer. Huh? Give me a partner. Then shadi.com. Not expressly declared void. Not expressly declared void. Lawful object and lawful consideration. Lawful object and lawful consideration. Yes, sir. Kabida. Yes, people. Okay. So, we saw certain essential elements which is not given under section 10. Basically, it is not given under the act only. Now, your question can be, if it is not given under the act, then how did it come? We are reading Indian Contract Act. If it is given under the section, we will be reading. If it is not given, then why did those things come or how did it come? People, they came because of certain judgments. So when I say something which is not given under section 10, still we are reading it. That means in the past somewhere there were cases filed and these things, even though it was not there in Indian Contract Act, the judges should have given a judgment. Though it is not there in Indian Contract Act, they would have given a judgment. That is the reason it is still standing out. Because it is not there, still it is essential. Because there were cases filed. That's the reason, even though it is not there, how did it come? Because of case laws. That's the reason you saw Balfour versus Balfour. Because of case laws, those things came into picture. Understood? Now, what is given under section 10? This is not a headache. They're telling directly, the lawmakers only directly gave this. So, if at all an agreement should become a contract, this should be present. If not, it is not a contract at all, it seems. Now, what is that, people? First one, offer has to be there, acceptance has to be there. Then it becomes a agreement. This we have already seen. What is an offer? What is an acceptance and all? We'll see. So, next one, people, there should be, people, one thing. Now, whatever we just wrote, like from here to here, that is your unit 1, unit 2, unit 3. Yes, sir. Everything in detail. Now, once we are done with these essential elements, we will start with what is offer. Once offer is done, there are like rules of offer. Once that is done, we'll go to acceptance. Once acceptance is done, we'll go to consideration. Now, regarding consideration, there are rules. Once that is done, your unit 2 is done. We'll go to unit 3. Unit 3 is nothing but free consent, capacity of parties. Once that is done, basically the other things. These are unit 3. So after that is done, we'll be seeing like some specific terms. So now this is how Indian Contract Act is. Yes, sir. You saw the basics of it. Now what you're going to see in the next units is this. So here I'll be just telling you on the face of it, but in the units to come, we'll be seeing these topics in detail. Getting the point, all of you? Okay. So what is the offer? What is acceptance? That is the next topic we'll see. But as of now, just imagine a person offered to do something, the other person agreed for it. It's called as an offer plus acceptance. That will give you a way for agreement. The next one is called free consent. What do you mean by free consent, people? When you guys agree on something, no one should have forced you. It should be on your own will. Now, for example, if at all, say for example, a person is entering into a contract. How did he enter? Someone blackmailed you. Yeah. Now, because of that, you signed the agreement. Now, is this agreement valid? No. No, it did not come out of your own free will. Someone forced you to enter into a contract. Now, such contracts, the courts will never agree. It is the point. Now, for example, it should be out of one's own will. That means there should always be it is considered free will when there is no coercion, undue influence, fraud, misrepresentation, mistake. Misrepresentation, mistake. So these things should not be there. If these things are not there, it is considered as free will. What is this? Each word we'll be seeing in detail in the third unit. As of now, don't worry. But one thing you need to understand now, whenever you enter into a contract, no one should force you. It should be out of your own will. That's one thing, remember. Clear up? Okay. Third one, people, capacity of parties, meaning who can enter into a contract. Again, this topic we'll be seeing in detail in third chapter. As of now, just remember who can enter. Simple thing is major, meaning you can never enter into an agreement with a minor. Now here you guys told, few of you are around 17-year-old. Yes, sir. Now when you guys came and got yourself registered in ArivuPro, did you only sign the forms or did someone else come with you and sign the forms? Your parents, guardians, someone has come and signed the forms. The reason is you are not capable enough to enter into a contract. According to the legal age of India, if you are less than 18, you cannot take your own decisions. Yes, sir. Sir, what, sir? Where, sir, you are? But, after 18 also, my parents only will come. That's protection. Yes, sir. So, basically, according to Indian laws, now if at all imagine people, if any of you only signed the contract, now let us imagine you are a minor. If we entered into a contract with you, and if you do not pay the fees, you entered into a contract, not your parents. If you entered into a contract, we cannot fight a case against you. The court will not accept the case because you are a minor. Against minor, you can never enter into a contract at all because a minor is not qualified to enter into a contract. So if at all we have lost our money, it is loss of money only. You cannot recover it. Understood? More details, we'll see it in unit 3. After 18, you can enter into a contract. That is, yes, allowed. Yes, sir. So next one, people, sound mind not expressly disqualified and all, we'll see in unit 3. As of now, don't worry. Sound mind means someone who is mentally stable. That's all. Clear? Consideration, people, basically, if a contract is to be valid, there should be quid pro quo. what is quid pro quo and all in unit 2. Unit 2 itself is called consideration. That unit name itself is consideration. More details we'll see. But in short, what do you mean by quid pro quo, people? Nothing but give and take. Isha, there has to be give and take. If at all there is no give and take, there is no contract at all, it seems. Clear? Isha? Okay. Next example, lawful object, lawful consideration. Meaning what? We entered into a contract. A entered into a contract with B. Two parties, everything is there. Social intention, major, everything is there. But why did we enter into a contract? The contract was to buy 100 kgs of cocaine, drugs. A gave 10 lakh rupees to buy 100 kgs of cocaine. B took, but he put Pond's powder and he gave that. Now A wants to file a case. Can he file? Wait, yeah. So agreement is there, contract is there, major, everything written, everything correct. But why did you enter into a contract for? It should be something lawful. If it's unlawful, court will not help you to recover your money. You cannot say, sir, he took money, sir, he didn't give cocaine, sir, he gave powder, sir, that took Pond's powder, sir. Yes, sir. So you cannot fight. Is clear? Yes. Next one, people, not expressly declared void. What is this void and all? We'll see a little while later. Is clear? So now basically, if at all you want to enter into a contract, certain things has to be checked. What is that, people? Whether there is an offer plus acceptance which will give rise to agreement. If at all it is an agreement, you need to check whether it is enforceable by law or not. If it is to be enforceable by law, certain essential elements has to be satisfied. What are the essential elements? Where is it given? It is given in section 10. Certain things are not given. What is not given? First thing, there should be two parties. There has to be an intention to create legal relationship. Intention to create meaning you should have a back of your mind that I want to take action against the other party if something goes wrong. The third one, other formalities, if any, are to be complied. Like here we wrote second example. I believe I didn't say about it. Like transfer of immovable property. If I want to sell a land in India, now A can say from today this land is yours. Will the transfer happen? Huh? Oral is valid, no, in India. So there is one act called as Transfer of Property Act. According to that act, as long as the documents are registered and it is signed, and until unless there is witness, this document is never properly transferred. So according to Transfer of Property Act, you need to go to sub-registrar office. You need to transfer, you need to register the property under that person's name now. Until this entire transaction is complete, this document is not complete. So understood this? Next one, it should be certain. Basically, it should not be vague, specific. Next one, it should be possible to perform. Lemon no. Yes, essential elements as given under section 10. What is given under section 10? They should always be offer and acceptance. Basically, there has to be an agreement. Free consent has to be there. No one should have forced you to enter into a contract. It's also called as, I'm writing one more thing called as consensus ad idem here. Write down that. Consensus ad idem. Consensus ad idem. Meaning what, people? Meeting of the minds. Meeting of the minds. Meeting of the minds. So, moral science. I told you I will teach. You thought I will teach law. I wanted to teach moral science. We entered into a contract. Now, are we thinking about the same thing in the same sense? The answer is no. Now, do we have a contract between us? The answer is no. Meeting of the minds, consensus ad idem means when a contract takes place, people, what we should have agreed. Something what is there in my mind should also be there in your mind. What I am thinking of should not be different. What you are thinking of should not be different. As long as they are same, only then you guys can enter into a contract. Only then it is valid. Clear? Huh? Okay. Consensus ad idem we'll be seeing again in the unit 2 and unit 3. If a minor is admitted as a partner in a company, then he's entered into the contract. You have asked questions from 3 chapters. Minor is admitted as a partnership in a company, Companies Act. Then he is entered into a contract, Indian Contract Act. According to which chapter, which you want me to answer? Yes, sir. Huh? You cover everything, sir. We paid, no? So, see, first thing, partnership is different. In partnership, we have a in detailed explanation for this. What happens, we'll see there. A minor can never be a partner. Minor can just be a beneficiary. He is admitted only for the benefits. He can never be a partner. Indian Contract Act, a minor cannot be a direct party to a contract. If at all he wants to do it, it has to be through a legal guardian. There should be a representative. Alone, directly, he cannot do it. Clear? Again, with regards to minor people, Unit 3 in detail, we have rules regarding minor agreements only. We'll see everything is there. It's clear, all of you? Okay. I'm just giving you like a brief intro of what is going to come. Okay. Capacity of parties we saw. It should be major, sound mind, mentally ill. Okay. Consideration, quid pro quo. Quid pro quo means people give and take. If it is, there is no give and take, there is no contract. Basically, it should not be one way. I'm giving, you are not giving me anything. It's not a contract. It is charity. Yes, sir. In detail, unit 2, we'll see. Lawful object, lawful consideration. Yes, sir. Powder, ponds. Not expressly declared void. What is void and all, we'll see. As of now, just keep it aside. Now, people, so if at all these things are present, that means essential elements are present. So, now offer is there, agreement is there. Essential elements are there. Now, court will say, bring it to the court. If at all your agreement can be taken in the court, now it is called as a contract. So meaning if essential elements are there in your contract, if the essential elements, whatever we saw till now, if those things are there in your agreement, then you can term your agreement as a contract. If your agreement is there, offer plus acceptance is there, but it was to do with powder, cocaine. Now, what can I call this as? You cannot call it as a contract. It is just an agreement. It is not a contract. Is this clear, all of you? Pakka, 100%. Okay. So, this is called as agreement enforceable contract. Okay, done. Any doubts here? Clear? Okay. Head to the next part. Types of contract. Types of contract. Types of contract. Okay. Types of contract. It is of 3 types. First one, on the basis of validity, or you can even call it enforceability. On the basis of validity or enforceability. A contract can be divided into, first one is called valid contract. Valid contract. What is a valid contract? Which is valid is called valid contract. Valid contract, which satisfies all essential elements. All essential elements of a contract. Which satisfies all essential elements of a contract is called as, people, a valid contract. Have you guys heard of a word called void? Heard of it? What is void? which is not valid. Which is not valid is void. What is void? Heard of it or not? First time. Okay. Now I'll write certain things. See or let me know if you guys know. There is something called as void agreement. Isha, there is something called as void contract. There is something called as voidable contract. The next one is called as illegal agreement. Yes, sir. There are these four types. One is called as void agreement, void contract, voidable contract, illegal agreement. Any idea on any of it? Illegal agreement? Illegal things are illegal agreement. Void agreement? Voidable things are voidable agreement. Legal? Illegal? Opposite? Something you do, sir, multiply, divide, sin theta, cos theta, you'll get the answer. People, void agreement means people. Now what happened? We saw there are offer plus acceptance plus essential elements of the valid contract to be satisfied. If it is there, then it becomes a contract. Correct? So basically, there is agreement plus essential elements is equal to back becomes a contract. If there is a tick mark on this, there's a tick mark on this. When I say tick mark on this, under that what and all conditions are there? Under everything there's a tick mark. So you are satisfying all the conditions. Then this is called as a valid contract. A valid contract. Yes, sir. Sir, there is an agreement. But essential elements, sir, something is not fine. Something is not present. Meaning, let us take for example, there is something called you need to enter into an agreement only with the major. You cannot enter into an agreement with the minor. We just saw under capacity of parties. Sir, agreement is there, lawful only, teaching only. We imagine I entered into a contract with you only, someone of 17-year-old. Everything, certain, specific, possible to perform, consideration, everything is there. Except one thing, what is that? You are a minor. Now, what can I call this agreement as? I have to give it a name. It is not a contract because there is one into mark on something. It is not a contract. I cannot just call it as an agreement because everything in the world is agreement. Now I have to give this a name. So the name we give this is called as void agreement. So what do you mean by void agreement? There is an agreement, but any of the essential elements are not satisfied. Such agreements become void agreements. Understood? If it is satisfied, it becomes a contract. If it is not satisfied, it becomes a void agreement. Understood? What do you mean by illegal agreement? So, if I enter into a contract with you, in our case, previous case, basically you were a minor. For that, will I be punished under a law? No, I will just not get my money back, that's all. I will not be put in jail and all for that. Getting the point, I'll just lose my money. On the other hand, you entered into a contract for that powder, 100 kg powder, cocaine. You entered into a contract. Now, if the lawmakers know, will they just leave me just like that? No. So there will be investigations. I can be punished. I can be put in jail. Yes, I can be put in jail. Now there is an agreement, but under this I am punishable. Now these are called illegal agreements. Getting the point? Getting the difference between void agreement and illegal agreements? Getting a fair idea, all of you? Okay. So now this we understood. Now there is something called as void agreement. Void agreement we saw. We saw something called void contract. Now what do you mean by void contract? There are two things, people. Now first of all, what do you mean by void? Void means people invalid. Simple. Valid means valid contract we saw. Void means invalid. That's all. Simple. Now sir, what do you mean by void contract? Invalid contract. Correct? Void contract means people invalid contract. People, I'm telling invalid contract. When I have to call something a contract, that means already you should have satisfied agreement plus essential elements is equal to contract. Only then I can give this a title. If not, I cannot use the word contract at all. But I'm using the word invalid contract. How is it possible? Are you trying to understand? If I give a word called contract, that means you have already satisfied everything. Then how am I even after satisfying calling it as invalid? What are they trying to tell the people? Void contract means initially it was valid. When you guys entered into the agreement, it was valid. But later it became invalid. Sir, how can that happen, sir? How can that happen? When I entered into a contract with Sushant Singh Rajput, it was a valid contract. Everything tick mark is there. Sir, but later point of time when the contract was happening, Sushant Singh passed away. So now is it capable of performing black magic? Can I act? Now can Sushant Singh act? No, it is not able to perform. Just like selling my bike, which does not exist. Now what will happen to this contract? When you entered it is valid. Now it has to end. It does not have a choice. Now what will happen? The contract will automatically come to an end. Now what are these contracts? These contracts are called as void contracts. So what do you mean by void contract? Initially when you entered it is valid. Later something happens. Because of that the contract becomes invalid or it comes to an end. Such contracts will be given a term as void contracts. Understood, all of you? Imagine people, there are some states in India, we call them as dry states, meaning they're dry, yeah? What are dry states? Huh? What have you heard of it, dry states? No. Huh? What do you mean by that? Oh, desert is that. That's the reason we call it as dry state? Maybe. Generally, dry state people is basically a state where alcohol is not available. Oh, sir, we are minors, sir. What, sir? Yes, sir. So, there is any state, if you guys know Andhra, of late, it's not completely, but it is under state's license. Gujarat, yes. So, in certain states, people, you cannot sell alcohol. Yes, sir. Now, from beginning, is it there? No. The law was made somewhere recent times. You can say somewhere on from 2005, 2006 is when all this started. Now imagine there was one person who took, if you want to sell liquor in India, you have to take license. Without that, you cannot sell. Now let us take a person was there in Gujarat. In 1995, he took a license for 20 years to sell license in Gujarat. He has paid fees also. But in 2005, a government came. They said going forward, Gujarat is, in Gujarat, selling liquor is illegal. It is prohibited. The same government said you can take license and sell liquor. Now I have a liquor license for 20 years. Now what will happen to my contract? I have a contract with the government to sell liquor. I have it. Now what will happen? You change the law. What will happen? Now the term given to your agreement, that is your license, is called as void contract. Why? Void contract. When you entered it is valid. Now there is a change in law. Whenever there is change in law, now this is again becomes a void. When you entered it as a contract, now it is a void contract, invalid contract. Understood? Pakana. Okay. The next term is called as voidable contract. Voidable meaning voidable. To be valid and to be void in the future. Void contract, same thing happened, no? No? Oh, in this you know it is happening. Okay. Okay. Any example? No, that will come to an end, that's all. It will not become invalid. Okay. Okay. Anything else? Election now. 5 years it keeps changing, huh? That's called voidable. What is voidable? Meaning, people, it is possible. I'm not saying it is pakka void. Earlier case it is void, that's all. There ends the case. Voidable, meaning possible. Even law is not sure that whether to categorize it as valid or invalid. It just said possible. You asked government, sir, we are confused what to do. It says, even I do not know. It may be possible that it is valid or invalid. Sir, how will we understand like this, sir? Let us imagine. Generally, people, if you look at Indian movies, somewhere or other, the plot will be same. First movie, when the screen opens, the first shot will be, there'll be one very poor farmer in a very remotest village. He'll have a happy family. He will have one very good piece of land. Villain will be going in a car. He will look that land. Wow, let us kabja. He will call that farmer. Hey, come sign. He will say no, because I have family. I have to do farming. He says, if you do not do it, I will kill you. Correct? Huh? Now what will the person do? He will say no. Now what will the villain do? He will take all the family. He will put gun like this. Yay. Sign. Now because of that, he will sign. Even after signing, he'll kill him. Correct? Huh? Okay, imagine. Now this person he blackmailed, showing a gun. Now our farmer agreed for a contract. He signed also. The villain went. Now people, on that agreements, that is whatever the paper. On the paper, the villain has taken the farmer's signature. Now imagine you guys do not know this story. The villain will bring those agreements to this class. He will show, I just purchased a piece of land. Will you guys know whatever happened in the background? According to you, it is a valid agreement. According to you, it is a valid contract. Agreed, huh? Now a farmer will come and he will explain you the entire story. He will come and he will explain you the entire story, saying, you know what, I did not sign those contracts with my own will. I was not interested, but he forced me to sign. Now you know the story. Now is it valid contract? No. Now you will say, no, you have been cheated. Someone actually pushed you to sign. That is not valid. No one should force you, correct? You wrote free will, free consent. No one should force you to sign. Correct? Huh? Now it becomes void contract. If at all you do not know the story, it is a valid contract. If you know the story, it is a void contract. Understood? Pakka na? 100%. So then what is the actual story here? Now the court has given an option to a farmer. What? Hey farmer, whenever someone illegally takes something from you like this, I will give you a certain period of time. Say for example 30 days. Within 30 days come to court. I will help you. If no matter what, I will help you. If you do not come to the court, the world will never know what happened. The villain to the world will show that he purchased the land. Because the world does not know your story. For the world, it will remain a valid contract. But you come to the court, I will help you. I will tear the contract right in front of your eyes. I will tear it. Now it becomes a void contract. It all depends on the choice you take. One party takes, not both. A choice given to one party, the only party who suffered the loss. A choice given to him to decide the contract as valid or void. If he keeps quiet, he doesn't come to court, the contract becomes valid. If he decides to come to court, the contract will be treated as void. Now the entire thing is dependent on you. That's the reason the word is also dependent on you. That is called voidable at your choice. If you want, I will treat it as void. If you do not come to court, it will remain as valid. That's the reason we term it as voidable contract. Understood? Pakka na? Now that is called as voidable contract. From any of this, they can pick a question. They can ask you like 3 marks, 4 marks question. Remember. Clear? All of you? Pakka? Right now. Valid contract. The second one. Void contract. What is void contract? Good. Initially valid, but subsequently becomes void. Example, death, change in law, etc. Third one, voidable contract. Voidable contract. When consent is not free, when consent is not free, such contracts are voidable at the option of one of the party is called voidable sufficient. Okay, fourth one, your book has given it as illegal contract. Illegal contract does not exist. We will always have to call it as illegal agreement. Once you call it a contract, it can never be called an illegal one. Only when it is legal, it became a contract, correct? But book calls it as illegal contract, but we call it as illegal agreement. What is illegal agreement? Agreement to do something illegal. To do something which is forbidden. By law. Example, you can write to kill, kidnap, powder, whatever you want to write. Fifth one, so in Sushant Singh Rajput case, will the producer get back the money? Will he get back the money, Ada? No. In Sushant Singh case, will he get back the money, Ada? Producer. Huh? They have a contract. Who will come and pay? Sushant Singh, please come pay and go. Not possible to perform. Nominee. So always remember, people, imagine on death, he would have made some assets. Who will take those assets? He would have written someone's name. Whoever takes the assets will also take the liability. Understood? If you have written children name, children will take. Parents name, parents will take. Siblings name, siblings will take. Friends name, friends will take. You obviously have a question. What if I have not written anyone's name? You have to write. What if now someone doesn't write? Which does not belong to anyone. Belongs to me. Says who? Government. It is called as doctrine of escheat. Doctrine of escheat means something which does not belong to anyone belongs to me, says government. Yes, sir. Okay. Illegal, in our case, yes, whoever is the nominees, they will have to pay back the money. Whenever I call it as a void contract, remember, when you enter it is valid, correct. But if you have taken any benefit, now the contract is coming to an end. It is your duty to refund the money also. You cannot, because the contract came to an end, you cannot take advantage of it. Meaning you cannot keep it with you. You have to return it. It is the pointer. Understood or not? Okay. Fifth one, unenforceable contract. Unenforceable contract. Unenforceable contract means, people, it's a contract. Everything is there, but still court will not help you. Such contracts are called as unenforceable contracts. Simple, huh? Everything is there, but the court will still not help you. Such contracts are called as unenforceable. That's what they have written. I don't know. Unenforceable contract. Everything is there, but still law will not help you. Example is that only. So people, imagine, I'm selling my land to Krishna. Yes, sir. Krishna has signed also. Now when we are fighting, when we go to court, I'll say, sir, me and Krishna has entered into a contract. We have, see, sir, written documents. Krishna will say, sir, who is that person, sir? He's Krishna. I am Krishna. Oh, like that. Understood. Yes, sir. So what do you mean by unenforceable contract? Everything is there, but there are technical errors that can be like spelling mistakes. For you, it is a spelling mistake, but law, you cannot take it as a spelling mistake. It can be because of mismatch in signatures. You have signed, but it does not match with government ID proofs. When I gave the document to Krishna, he has signed. He has signed. Something he has signed like this. Gopika. Yes, sir, he has signed and he has given to me. Now, obviously, when anyone signed, did you guys check? Hey, give me your passport. Da. Have you ever checked that? No. So now you have taken it. But when it went to the court, now you are telling it is not my sign at all. Obviously, other party will suffer the loss. It is his responsibility to check whether it is your signature or not. Because tomorrow you can say that it's not mine. Someone else signed, sir. It's not me at all. Can someone say that? Yes, that's the reason in certain contracts you will see something called as witness. The witness is to say this person signed in front of me. Understood? But what is unenforceable contract? Understood? Why certain? The contract is certain. That is all correct. Two parties should be there. That is also there. Everything is there. He should sign. He has signed. But what I am telling, he is not signing his actual signature. See, certain means signature has to be there. It is there, but it is not the right one. Now name has to be there. There is a spelling mistake. Now what to do? Court cannot take risk. Court like that cannot pass an order. So it says, I cannot help you. They become unenforceable. Understood? Okay, read out. Unenforceable contracts. Contracts having online contracts having technical mistakes. They online now. First get out of that bed. Watching like this, people should think you will be watching some series, web series or something. That book will be somewhere like this and all, right? Huh? Okay. Contracts having technical mistakes. Example, mismatch of, or you can write spelling mistake in the name. Something called understamping. You guys heard of understamping? Have you guys ever purchased stamp paper in your life? E-stamp, stamp papers. Someone has purchased? Have you purchased? Can you tell me why and how much? Yes, sir. I should have kept quiet. 7th standard project for stamp paper. என்ன ப்ராஜெக்ட் அது? ஸ்டாம்ப் பேப்பர் என்ன எந்த இன்டர்நேஷனல் ஸ்கூல்டா நீ? ஸ்டாம்ப் பேப்பர் 7th standard. Anyone da? Stamp papers, stamp. Yeah, anyone? Stamp any example? Tell.
Attendance loss of college.
Lawyer. College. Why stamp? You have to get a stamp. The reason is low attendance. Okay. The reason is people. Any other example? Letter. Whenever you post a letter, there should be a stamp. Okay. Value of the stamp, anything you remember? 5 rupees and all. Okay. Have you ever tried, if at all the post, that is stamp value was 5 rupees. If you had understamped, meaning instead of taking 5 rupees, you have taken 1 rupee stamp. And if you had pasted that particular thing, if you send it to the post, will it reach? No, it will be rejected. Why? Technical error. Everything is there. Understamping means people in a contract. Remember, in India, any agreement which gives you rights or liabilities, on that there will always be a stamp duty paid to the government. Example, if you purchase a property in India, 6.5% has to be paid as stamp duty. You can ask parents or your circle if they have purchased land or building anytime in the, sometime like in 5-10 years, if they have purchased, you can just ask. Anyone have purchased? Sir, we cannot disclose all that, sir, personal information. Yes, sir. Imagine, let us imagine if you guys have purchased, you will be able to relate to the example I am telling. In India, if you purchase a land, you have to mandatorily pay 6.5% as stamp duty. Now let us imagine there is a property. The land value is 1 crore in Bangalore. The stamp duty, if you have to sell to anyone, you will have to pay a stamp duty of 6.5%. Or if you are buying it, you have to pay a stamp duty of 6.5%. Now ask your parents or anyone in your circle who has done it, what is the value you have shown on the documents? The actual value will be 1 crore. That is the actual amount they would have exchanged. But what is the actual value they have shown on the document? It will be lesser. Is it? Why? That time only the stamp duty will come less. So what they are telling you people, whenever you're, now let us take our example only. Why do they do this, people? If at all you show 1 crore, you need to pay 6.5 lakhs as stamp duty to the government for doing nothing. 6.5 lakhs. You have to pay, you don't have a choice. So now what do people do? They will reduce the value to 60 lakhs. Yes, sir, you're teaching illegal. I'm teaching you reality. I'm not saying this is not happening. I'm telling you example, meaning something happening, I'm teaching you. Not teaching you, I'm telling you not to do. It is the point. So now if at all, now what is the amount he saves? On 60 lakh, you will pay 6.5%, which will definitely be less than what you had to pay. Correct? At least half of it is reduced. Yes. Now people, what do you mean by technical error here? There is a particular percentage. If you have paid this much, only this contract is valid. If you do not pay the right amount, then people, such contracts are unenforceable in the court. Why? Because of understamping. Why? You did not pay the right amount to the government. Understood? All of you. Like this, everything people simple thing. You would have seen something called e-stamp and all. Have you ever seen e-stamps? Have you guys seen rental agreements? Have you seen rental agreements? The first page will always be e-stamp. Oh, that. Huh? We thought what? Seen something like this? Yes, these are called as e-stamps, electronic stamps. There are two types of stamps. One is called as adhesive stamps, one is called e-stamp. Adhesive stamp is whatever you guys said, postal cards, which you just paste. These are called electronic stamp. Difference, sir. Adhesive stamp, e-stamp, both money goes to government only. Adhesive stamps can be cheated. E-stamps cannot be cheated. The reason is you can see the information there. Meaning you can check when the stamp paper was taken, who took it, what time it was taken. You can have a record of everything. In adhesive stamp, what will be there? 500 rupees, one fancy symbol will be there, that's all. Correct? No, that's the difference. So, technical error again here, unenforceable contract, if at all the contract is understamped. Court will not accept such documents. Understood? Clear? Yes, sir. Technical mistake. Yes? Okay. Okay, these are the types of contract on the basis of validity or enforceability. Right on, next one. Will everyone do it? If at all, in your circle, basically parents or your relatives, if they have purchased the property, you go and ask them. If at all they have not undervalued, we'll see. Yes, sir. Okay. On the basis of formation, on the basis of formation, the types of contract on the basis of formation. The first one is called as express contract. When terms are expressed in words, spoken or written, is called express contract. Implied contract. Contract is formed by conduct of parties. Conduct of parties. It is also called as by implication. Contract is formed by conduct of the parties or implication. It includes a tacit contract. The word tacit means silent. The third one, quasi contract. QUASI. Quasi contract. Fourth one, they do not turn off the. You want to increase the temperature. 80 people are sitting. It will become oven only. So there should be some air circulation. If you increase the temperature also okay, but never turn off. Because it will take forever to stabilize. Temperature will never stabilize. You will start sweating. We'll have to go out only, then we have to come in. Yes, so never turn off.
It's not done by us, it's automatic.
Automatica.
Fan only, sorry.
Is it? Someone pakka did it. Check the remote. That is never automatic.
I only have to.
There are 6 remotes for this AC.
In class, we have to
On में there is one. Someone has a remote. Yeah, beta. You did it. You did it. There is one more remote here. There is any other remote, Ada? Only 2, huh? Okay. With that only it operates, that's all. With fan you turn into AC. Okay, that's not working only. Okay. Huh? Okay. Now people, quasi contract third one, fourth one is people e-contract. Okay, concentrate down. Okay, types of contract on the basis of formation. On the way the contract is formed, a contract can be divided into 4 things. One is called as express contract, implied contract, quasi contracts, e contracts. Quasi and e we will not touch now. Quasi is your 6th unit. The unit's name only is called quasi contract. So for now, don't worry. E contract is the last topic of the Contract Act. 6th chapter only we'll do that. So don't worry. There are 2 contracts left. One is called as express contract, next one is called as implied contract. What do you mean by express contract? Whenever you are entering into a contract, when everything is decided upfront, when everything is discussed upfront, everything, such contracts are called as express contracts. You have discussed everything. You have discussed with regards to money, when is to be delivered, what time to be delivered, quantity to be delivered, everything has been discussed. Such things are called as express contracts. Clear? Implied contracts means nothing is discussed. That is called as implied contract. Example of express contract, you can take anything. Now, for example, the best example would be say Zomato, or let us take Zomato only. You say what you want. You specifically add the quantity. Every contract in your life, what you enter, what you know is an express contract. You specifically ask for what you want. You go to a Reliance supermarket, you take what you want, you will be billed accordingly. It's an express contract. You are specifically telling the cashier, I want this, 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 this. This is an express contract. Now, what do you mean by implied contract? Implied contract is a contract in which you have not discussed at all. The other party is not giving you an offer. In express contract, there is an offer, there is an acceptance. Both are either written or discussed. It can be either oral or it can be in written, but end of the day it is discussed. In implied contract, it is neither in oral nor in written. It is not discussed at all, it seems. Such contracts are called as implied contracts. Examples of implied contract, people, let us take for example, you want to travel by bus. You'll just stand near the bus stop. The bus automatically comes and stands in front of you. You will not talk anything. Few people will ask whether will it go here. Few people know it, it's your bus route. You automatically get in. Correct? If at all you guys have a pass, you get down whatever is your particular destination. Now in this entire thing, if you guys have this bus pass, anyone has it? Yes. Now whenever you have a bus pass, you will not interact with the conductor at all. You know where to go, you know what to do. He will ask you whether you need a ticket. You will say pass. Done. There ends the story. Now, but he is giving you an offer. You are taking an acceptance. What is that? He just stopped the bus in front of you. He never asked you to get inside the bus. Did he ask you? Then how did you get in? This is called implied offer. Meaning I'm not discussing anything, I'm not writing anything, but I'm showing an action where I'm trying to communicate, I'm willing to offer something. When you guys hop into the bus, you are giving an acceptance. Whether you have a pass, you don't have a pass. The moment you get inside, you will have to buy a ticket. It's an implied acceptance you give. Imagine after getting into the bus, you cannot say nowhere you have written that you need to buy a ticket. Can't you discuss that? Imagine people, you got into a bus, the conductor is telling you to buy a ticket, you're telling nowhere you have put it on the bus that you have to buy a ticket, I will not buy a ticket. Can you say that? Or imagine people, let us take, you go to a hotel, two things will be there. One is first pay and eat, next one is eat and pay, service hall. You first go inside, you will order food, after having the food, he will give you the bill. Correct? Huh? Did any time, whenever you go and have the food in the hotel, initially, before the food is served, will the waiter check with you, sir, do you have money? Has he ever asked you this question? No. Now, with what guarantee he is serving you? It's an implied offer, it's an implied acceptance. The moment you order, you are willing to pay, you will have to pay. Getting the point, sir, these are the examples of implied offer, implied acceptance. Is this clear, all of you? 100% understood? Okay. So one is called as express contract, one is called as implied contract. Implied contract includes a tacit contract. In India, there is no much difference between implied contract and tacit contract. Tacit contracts are implied contracts only. What do you mean by tacit contracts? Contracts where nothing is discussed. That is the reason we call it as silent contracts. Give us an example, sir. ATM withdrawal. You take your card, you just swipe it, there is no one talking there, but still you are entering into an agreement with the bank. That I have my money with you, I want to withdraw it. There is no one discussing with you. Sir, I know there is some recorded voice that comes, please insert the card. That is not what I am telling. There is no person who is telling that we are entering into a contract. There is a terms going. There is no one telling. These are called as silent contracts. Understood? Yes, we call it as tacit contracts. Yes, all of you. For now, quasi don't worry, and for now, not worry about e-contracts. Yes. Okay. Then third one, online now. They online now. On the basis of, we need to keep checking online. Correct, Nona? In between the class only you will have dinner. Huh? Yes or no? On basis of performance. No. On the basis of performance, I can divide this into two things. One is called as executed contract. One is called as executed contract. Next one is called as executory contract. Executed contract. Next one is called executory contract. Clear? Executed contract, executory contract. Now, what do you mean by executed? General, forget about contract. Executed, executory. What is the difference? Executed means done. Executory, done, done, or done. Going to done. Going done. Working, going to be done. Okay, people, what do you mean by executory contract? Executed contract means the obligations of the parties are completed. You order for food on Zomato. Yes, the food is delivered. You ate it, you paid it, you gave a review, you gave a tip, done. Contract is done. It's called executed, past. Executory, future. Meaning the obligations of the party is pending. Yes, sir. meaning it is yet to be done, is called as executory contract. Executory contract can be of two types. One is called as unilateral, one is called as bilateral. Unilateral means people, one person's obligation is pending. Bilateral means people, both the parties' obligations are pending. Can you guys give me an example? Unilateral, cash on delivery. Okay. Bilateral, bilateral, cash on delivery. Okay. Huh? People, unilateral is online payment. Bilateral is cash on delivery. Now, how people, now for example, you book anything online, food or Amazon. Now, whenever you pay online, you have paid. Has he already delivered your product? No. It is unilateral executory contract. One party has paid. You have paid online, but the product is not yet delivered. So, one party's obligation is pending. It's called unilateral executory contract. Bilateral, you have entered into a contract. I will pay. First you come and deliver. That is called COD, cash on delivery. You first show, I'll pay. Correct? Huh? Now this is called as bilateral executory contract. Even my payment is pending, your delivery is pending. But we have a contract, right? That is why we entered into the Flipkart website or Amazon website. We say yes, buy now. There is a contract, but payment and delivery is not yet made. Understood? Pakkana, this is called as executory, unilateral, bilateral. Executed contract, it is a completed contract. It is a completed contract. Executory, obligation of the parties are pending. Now, depending upon whose obligation is pending, I can classify executory into unilateral and bilateral. Unilateral means obligation of one party is pending. Obligation of one party is pending. Bilateral means people, both the parties, same thing right off. Obligation of both the parties are pending. Both the parties are pending. Example, online payment. Example, COD. Cash on delivery. Clear? Go beta. Enough. These are the types of contracts. Okay. What is a contract? Okay. There are some differences. What is that? See, people, what is the difference between agreement and a contract? Huh? Offer is agreement is offer plus acceptance. Contract is agreement enforceable by law. Okay, definition you will write. Okay, done. What else? Every contract is an agreement. But every agreement is not a contract. Is it? She's telling every contract is an agreement. But every agreement is not a contract, it seems. Is it? It's not drugs, sorry, cocaine, powder. You guys are minors, so I cannot use the word drugs. Powder we can use. Correct, no? Yes or no? No, people. So, in powder case, there was an agreement, but is it a contract? No. Minor case, there was a agreement between me and a minor. There is an agreement, but is it a contract? No. So, they are telling if at all it is a contract, to become a contract, obviously first there should be an agreement. But not all agreements are becoming contracts. Correct? Huh? They will ask you a comment based question asking justify or right, they'll write a short note or they'll give you a comment based question. Comment on. All the contracts are agreements, but not all agreements are contracts. Comment. Getting the point, you will have to write the background. Essential elements has to be satisfied. Getting the point? Okay. Anything else? Any other difference? Any other difference? Okay. All agreements are not contracts, but all contracts are agreements. Okay. Scope, it is a wider term including both legal and social agreement. If I just say agreement, it includes legal relationships also. It includes social relationships also. What is social? People, here it is nothing to do with whether it is enforceable by law or not. So there are a wide range of things that are included, but contracts are narrow. Which satisfies those essential elements, only they become contract. These are wide. Contracts are narrow. Only certain things qualify. Because the best example, their gym example, it's an agreement only, but it's not a contract. Correct? Huh? Okay, next one. It may not create legal obligation. An agreement does not always give you rights. But a contract will always create legal obligation, will always give you rights to the parties. What is a right? If the other party does not perform, you can go to the court. That's the reason you wrote it enforceable by law. Correct? Huh? Yes, sir. They can ask you a difference based question. Any doubt? Any doubts? Sure. Okay. Huh? Any doubt? Okay. Essential elements we saw. Balfour. Okay. 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 What is the you want to break? Huh? Right? Huh? Oh, that something is in there. It feels nice. Something. What time you go for a break generally? No, what time you generally go? At what time you will go for a break? Now, at generally 8 o'clock you go. I felt we just came in from the break. No, you are speaking there. You come and sit here, you'll know. It feel like we came yesterday only. Okay, one break. How much? 5 minutes? How much? 10. No, no compromise. Okay, go for a break in.